So that's recording now. Okay, so let's go over the basics of Tribute. So the first stage is you've got patrons. Now, each player gets to pick 2 patrons. I'm only going to focus on the basic 4 here first. So you've got Saint Pelin, Grandmaster Delmine Halalu, Duke of Crows, and Sigic Lawmaster Celerus. So you'll notice that on the right hand side of the screen, that's where all the patrons have gone. Now, there's 2 ways to win a game of Tribute. And that's the first one is by gaining the favour of all 4 patrons at the same time, or by reaching 40 prestige. So this section here, you've got the prestige counter here, you've got the gold counter here, and then you've got the power counter here. So the gold is used to purchase cards from the tavern, so such as here. Now the tavern will be built up of a range of cards depending on the patrons that you selected. So you can see we've got various St. Pelin cards, we've got Grandmaster, Duke of Crows, and Sigic. Everybody will start with a basic card from each patron in their deck, and you'll have your draw pile here. Now each player starts with 5 cards. Now the idea is that these cards will have various different effects. So you can see this one here, for example, the play effect is gain 1 power. Now gold buys from the tavern, and power is used to damage your opponent's agents. Any unspent gold is lost at the end of each turn, and any power unused at the end of each turn converts to prestige, which is how you increase your prestige counter. So, if I play these cards here, you can see after playing these, I've got 4 gold now and 1 prestige, which means I can buy a card. When I buy a card, it goes to my cooldown pile. You can see there's also another card here that you can purchase, which is a treasury card. Now these are kind of situational cards that are mostly used to get you in and out of a pickle. Now the bonus of the patrons cards is you can see the ones up here, some of them have combos which provide additional effects. So for example, the Squawking Oratory, if I put that down, it allows me to draw 1 card. If I then put down another card of the same patron, so another Duke of Crows card, it then counts towards a combo. Now you can see on this one, if I put down a further 2 Duke of Crows cards, it allows me to draw an additional card on top of the one I already drew. Now the combinations are what is key to either winning or losing. Now this card, the treasury one, you can see that it doesn't have a combination. So you want to prioritize taking the cards from the patron that you're looking for and build your deck depending on the cards that you purchase. So for example, if I was to buy this Duke of Crows card, the next card that I buy either needs to be of a patron that's going to benefit that card or a card of the same patron, because that's when I then get to build up the combinations. The patrons on the right-hand side, you can see the Duke is currently highlighted, and you can see the arrows are currently all pointing towards the middle, which means that they are neutral at the moment. Now, each patron has a special effect, which helps gain favour, but also provide support to what you're currently playing. So the Duke, for example, it says here, I can pay all of my coin to gain power equal to the amount of coin paid minus 1. So that would be useful if I've got a lot of gold that it has either been unspent or I've racked up quite a lot of gold to convert to a lot of power. I would activate that now. But as I've only got 2 gold, that would only result in an increase of power by 1, which at the moment wouldn't be beneficial. At the start of every tribute game, the first focus should be buying cards and building up a strategy, probably for about the first 4 or 5 turns. And anytime you buy a card, it then gets replaced by an additional card from the tavern. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually use the treasury to sacrifice 1 card, which will be the gold coin that I've got, and that's provided me with a writ of coin. So I've sacrificed that card, which the play effect was to gain 1 coin, and I've gained this card, which the play effect is to gain 2 coin. Now, if I end my turn, you can see the power has now converted to prestige. Now let's see what the NPC is going to do. So he's just bought that Sigil card. So ideally, they should then be focusing on Sigil cards in their next turn, so that they can build up combinations. Is everybody following so far? Any questions? Okay.
Yeah, all good.
So, as you can see, the cards that I just used went into my cooldown pile, and I've drawn a further 5 cards from my draw pile. But all I've got is just 5 gold coins. So let's play them. Now you can see I've got 5 coin, and I've got a Duke of Crows card which I can purchase for 4 gold. So I'm going to buy that. And then there's nothing else I can really do on this turn, so I'll end it. And you'll notice the cards have now transferred from the cooldown pile back over to the draw pile, so it recycles your hand. So this is part of the building up of your deck in order to get those combinations. And you can see that NPC, he's just turned the Duke of Crows, but that didn't really provide him with much benefit apart from the patron now being in favour of him. So if he was to get the favour of the other 3, that would result in an automatic victory. However, that patron has now become unusable to him whilst it's in favour. So let's spend this gold. Okay, so I've got 5 gold, but there's nothing in here that's of any use that I can purchase at the moment. So I'm going to go to the treasury and exchange a coin for a writ. Now, I could buy this treasury card. But the play effect is to knock out one of my opponent's active agents. Now, there are two types of cards. You've got action cards, like this one, which when you play them, they just go straight to your played cards pile. Or you've got agents, which come down here, and they don't go into your played cards pile. They stay active on the field for your next turn. Now you'll notice the Blackfeather Knight, the coin cost is 6, and he also has 3 health. So if I had that on the field, my opponent could then use 3 power to then knock the agent out, which would then move into the played cards pile. Now, if I was to buy this, there aren't any active agents on the field at the moment, so it would be a wasted purchase. So all I'm going to do is just end my turn. So let's see what the NPC does. Okay, so he's just activated the Sigil card. And the combination of... Oh, where's it gone? So what he's done, the play effect for this card that he just used was draw 1 card and then look at the next 4 cards of your draw pile and choose up to 4 of those cards to move to the cooldown pile. But there's also a combo there where if he played another Sigil card, it would then also gain 2 power as an additional effect. Now, luckily I can show you a combination here. So you can see I've got Peck, which is from the Duke of Crows, and I've also got Toll of Silver. So Peck, the play effect is gain 1 coin, and Toll of Silver, the play effect is gain 2 coin. But if I stack that on top of the Duke of Crows, it also allows me to draw another card. So I'll play Peck, and then Toll of Silver, and there's the additional card. And that's where a lot of the winning strategies will come from, by making extensive combinations in order to receive the additional benefits of these cards, which could result in either additional power, additional gold. Some of them also provide prestige straight away. And there are various other effects, such as knocking out agents or replacing cards from the tavern. So I've got 3 gold. So I'll play my other cards. Scrying Globe, I can gain 2 coins and look at the next 2 cards of my draw pile and choose which ones to move to the cooldown pile. So I'm going to move this one, because out of the 2, that one is currently more beneficial because it's gaining 2 coins rather than 1. So I'll get rid of that. So I've now got 8 coin, which means I have the option of choosing any of these 5 cards to purchase. Now, I could purchase this one, which is from the Grandmaster Halalu, but as I've already got 2 Duke of Crows cards, it would be more beneficial for me to purchase a Duke of Crows card in order to further down the line in an additional turn to get a greater combination. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to purchase Squawking Oratory. I've got 2 coin left, so I'm going to buy Scrying Globe. And then I'm going to end my turn. So he's got 7 coins, so he's just bought another Sigil card. And he's just activated another patron. Now, Grandmaster Halalu, what his ability is that you can sacrifice a card from your played cards pile, and you gain prestige equal to the card's cost -1. So you can see his prestige has now gone up to 5, so he's currently winning according to the prestige counters. Let's put these coins in. So there's currently 3 Duke of Crows cards that I can purchase. And I think I'm going to go for this one. The reason being is I could have bought one of these two, but by purchasing that one I've got 2 gold left over, which means I can go to the treasury and get another writ of coin, which will help me out further down the line. Now, he's just bought a couple of treasury cards, but that's actually a big mistake that he's made, because by purchasing those treasury cards, it gave him an immediate minor bonus by increasing his prestige to 8. But the cards that have been replaced by the ones he purchased are a lot more beneficial in terms of combinations. So he's now provided me the opportunity to purchase better cards than the one he's just taken. So now we can see we've got 3 Duke of Crows cards. So if I put Peck down first, I gain a gold coin. I then put Squawking Oratory down, and I draw a card. Now, this one, it's on the right-hand side, has combo 3, which means if I now place a 3rd Duke of Crows card down, I'll get to draw an additional card, and I'll also get the benefits of combo 2 from Pool of Shadow, which means I get to draw another card. So if I place that down now, I now get 2 additional cards and 2 power. So let's place the remaining cards down. Get rid of that one. So I've now got 8 gold. So I'm going to purchase another Squawking Oratory. And I'm also going to purchase a Grandmaster Halalu card. Now, one important thing is not to focus solely on one patron, because some of the play effects from the cards actually work out well as support cards for the patron that you are working with, or as a counter to the patron that your opponent is purchasing. So, for example, if for example, we're focusing on Duke of Crows, which is more focused on gaining gold quickly. You could use the gold that you get from that to buy more expensive cards, like the Banneret, for example. Combine that with the play effects from the Halalu deck, which is all about acquiring high-level cards. And then you can look at the patron's abilities and use them in your favour. So Grandmaster Halalu, for example, if you were to use that on Banneret, the coin cost is 9. But if you were to sacrifice that with the Halalu patron's effects, that would give you a prestige increase of 8. So each patron has a specific tactics that it focuses on how to achieve victory. They do get a bit more complicated as you start looking at the other patrons, but these ones are fairly basic to grasp. But for now, I'm just going to end my turn. No, so as long as you play them all in the same turn, there's not like a specific order. However, once you start getting into more advanced tactics, there is not necessarily a set specific order that you can play it, but there's ways that you can, depending on which card you play first, would be more beneficial for you. But that's a bit further down the line, whereas at the moment, these combinations, as long as they're played in the same turn, if it's part of the same patron, the combinations will just stack regardless of what order you've put them in. No worries. So I'm going to play the Scrying Globe first. Now, out of these two cards, I'm going to get rid of the Writ of Coin, mostly because the Scrying Globe has the same play effect plus an additional one, so that's more beneficial to me than the Writ of Coin. So I'll get rid of that. Okay, so I've got 7 gold. And you can see the first couple of turns for each player is purely focused on the building of cards into your hand, so that when you start getting to the middle of the game, that's when you start then utilising the combinations of the cards that you've purchased. I'm going to purchase that one and end my turn. Now the thing with Tribute is that it's a very reactive game. So there's no sort of like set tactic which will guarantee you a victory. You've got to react to what's being played in front of you. So, for example, the Tavern at the moment currently has no Duke of Crow cards. So we can start to look at a different patron that we can focus on. So we've got 2 Duke cards, so I'm going to play this one first, which will allow me to draw another card, which is another Squawking Oratory. So if I play that again, I get to draw another card. I'll then put Peck down, and you see that allowed me to draw a further 2 cards. Now the reason being is because both of these were played at the same time, the combo 3 for both of those cards activated at the same time. So if I play all of these, let's get rid of that one. I've now got 11 coin. Now, if I was to activate the Duke of Crow's patron, that would mean it would gain 10 power, which at the end of my turn, which would then convert to 15 prestige, which would put me in the lead. I'm not going to activate that just yet, because there are some very useful cards of other patrons in the tavern at the moment, which the opponent could utilise if we leave them there. So I'm going to buy this one from the armory, as the play effect is gain 5 power. Now, as I've purchased that, that's then opened up a Duke of Crows card. Now, this one is slightly different because, as you can see at the bottom, it says contract card. So the difference between normal cards and contract cards is when you use a contract card, it doesn't get added to your deck, so it's just a one-use card. But if I now play that, it stacks on top of the Duke of Crow card combinations that I've already played. That, as you can see at the bottom of this card, for combo 4 is gain 4 power. And because I've got 2 of them, that's resulted in 8 power. And I now place that one. And that's allowed me to draw another card. So you can see where the combinations start to come into it. Because if I'd have just hit the Duke of Crows earlier, I'd have gotten the 10 power I currently have, but I wouldn't have any other cards to play, and I wouldn't have any additional gold. Now you can see up here as well, there's also a discard counter. So one of the effects of one of the Duke cards, this one, that I played, is on a combo 3, your opponent discards one card from their hand. So not only are we now building our deck, we're now putting stress on their hand for their next turn. So let's play the Armory, which gives me 15 power. So I will buy another writ of coin from the treasury, and you can see we're in a much better position than if we were just to hit the Duke of Crows patron, because now we've got 15 power rather than the 10 it would have given us before. So now I've ended my turn. That's now resulted in 20 prestige. On top of that, the opponent now only had 4 cards to play with, which potentially could cause disruptions in any combinations they had planned. But as of right now, we are now in the lead. So I'm going to play that card, so you can see this one, rather than going to the played field, is active on the field as an agent. But it still counts towards combinations for other cards of the same patron. If I play that, that'll allow me to draw another card. So I'll play these. And I will get rid of both of those. Now, there's another Duke card here, but I'm going to purchase a different one, which is this one, the Shield Bearer. So if I now play that, you'll see that the play effect for this was to gain 1 power, but it also has a taunt ability. So what this does is, on your opponent's next turn, this agent must be attacked before they end their turn. Now, this can be used either to protect your other agents, which are more valuable to your combinations, because they can use their power to knock these agents off of the field and into the played cards pile. But because I've got Shield Bearer there with the taunt effect, that means any power that the opponent gains in the next turn, he can't use that to knock out my Black Feather Knight until he's knocked out the Shield Bearer first. Now, because I've got Shield Bearer, which is under the St. Pellin patron, I'm going to now start buying St. Pellin cards. I'll buy that one. And I will end my turn. Now you can see I've not activated any patrons at the moment because it's a case of reviewing what you've got out on the field at the moment and determining what is the best tactic that you can apply at the moment. Because, for example, I could have activated Grandmaster Halalu to sacrifice my shield bearer, and that would have got me an extra 5 patron, but that would have then left my Blackfeather Knight exposed should the opponent have gained any power in their turn. And you see now the hand is now built up of various cards which are allocated to a patron, and there are no treasury cards in there. So I've now maximised my potential for building up an extensive combination. So if I activate Shield Bearer, I activated that card in the previous turn, but in any future turns that you have, you can reactivate their play effects. So I've just gained 1 power, and if I now activate this one, as well as the additional 5 power that the armory gives me, it also gave me 1 coin as a combo too. So let's now play the Duke of Crow cards. Now you can see we're really starting to rack up on the power points. Activate Fortify. And activate the Scrying Globes. So at the moment we've got 14 gold, 21 prestige and 13 power. Now I have the option of buying additional cards, but now reviewing what's in front of me, it's more beneficial to me to activate the Duke of Crow's patron, because that now results in 26 power. So if I end my turn, I've now got 47 prestige. Now my opponent, because my prestige has gone over 40, he now has to match or exceed my prestige level in order to stay in the game. But he's not going to be able to do it because he hasn't bought the right cards or worked out the right combinations. So you can see that's now resulted in a victory. If he was able to gain prestige to either match or exceed mine, the game would then continue until somebody couldn't match the opponent's prestige, or somebody achieved 80 prestige first. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that is the basics of Tribute. Does anybody have any questions? Yes. So, I don't know, in the background, we've still got the shield bearer there. So, in order to attack any other agent, you first have to knock out any agents that have that taunt ability. So, I don't know if you noticed that the 1 power that he had in that last turn, he used that to reduce his health from 5 to 4. So in order to knock that card out fully, he would have to use up 5 power, and then it would move to the cooldown pile. Once that card is then removed from the field, they are then free to either use that power for knocking out any other agents I have out on the field, or activating a patron, or another tactic within the game. But as long as I've got that taunt card up, they can't use their power for anything other than attacking that agent. So that's very good for as a tactic for not allowing your opponent to convert their power to prestige. So it hinders their ability to level up their prestige, whilst you're then hitting combinations from another patron to increase yours. Does that make sense? Perfect. Does anybody have any other questions?
How many agents can you have out at a time?
I don't think there's a limit. Because I've played games where I'm certain I've played against somebody else and they've had like 20 agents. And at that point, like, yeah, at that point you should just quit because you ain't never beating that. But yeah, there's no limit to how many agents you can have on the field. Yeah, so the shield bearer, if you bought another one, you could have two shield bearers on the field at the same time, which means they wouldn't be able to use any power until both of them have been knocked off the field. If you've got 5 of them on the field at once, that's 25 power they have to spend before they can convert any power or use it to knock out any other agents. But as you can see, as we've gone through that game, the cards that come from the tavern, they'll be from one of the 4 patrons that's been selected, but it's entirely random which one you'll get. So that's what I mean by you've got to be reactive to what's being played in front of you, because if you've got in your mind that you've got a certain tactic that you want to apply, but you're not, the tavern is not allowing you to do that because it's not providing the right cards for that tactic, you've got to be able to change things up and adapt to what the tavern is providing and to what your opponent is doing as well. Yeah, yeah, that's a perfect tactic. So if you can see that they're building up Duke of Crow combinations, you haven't quite got enough coin to buy the cards that you want. What you can do is buy cards that your opponent wants to stop them from using it. That's a very valid tactic. So the combo, so I think what you mean, if they played 3 Duke of Crow cards, the combination would only apply for any Duke of Crow cards that you have played from your hand. But yeah, that is the basics of Tribute. What you'll find when you come up against various other players is sometimes a lot of people tend to forget about the patrons, which you can abuse. Where if they're buying all the right cards and you're not really being given the opportunity to buy the cards that you want, you could then change the focus into gaining the favour of all the other patrons, which would then result in a guaranteed victory, regardless of what prestige each player has. So it's very much a every turn you have to review the entire field and what is going to be the best tactic for you in that moment. Um, but yeah, they are the basics of Tribute. And you can see at the end of every match, whether it's NPC or player, you get some match rewards at the end. And they drop into your mail. So let's have a look and see what we got from that. So you can get gold, transmute crystals, crafting materials. Yeah, it's entirely random. Um,
Is that for
but
every match you play?
yeah, every match you play. Now, there are some which provide some very, very special prizes, and what they can be is either upgrades to certain patrons' cards. So that means it either adds a combination or increases an agent's health. It provides much better effects that you can then play in the game. You can also get some pretty nice tapestries for anybody who's into housing. But yeah, the rewards from this can be pretty good once you've played a few games. So that is